Minasan, okarinasai. Today, well, in the last video I talked about a little Seiyu gossip involving Maya Uchida and some other ladies, and in past videos I briefly mentioned some other rumors and whatnot about some of the girls, but in this video I will solely focus on that topic. Of course, a few disclaimers before I start. This video will be broken down into 3 sections: the Bunshun stories, fan speculation and gossip, and then the serious stuff. I'll be sure to specify which is which when I get there. Also, I just want to say that most of this stuff is stupid, and realistically, who cares? Most of this is just people living their life. Well, there are a few people here who really do suck, but I thought it would be a good topic to make a video about. So with that out of the way, let's start off with the Bunshun Company and their reports. This company is just a news outlet that basically stalks and harasses Seiyu to get information out of them. Basically the Japanese version of TMZ. They have reported on some Seiyu having boyfriends. Could you imagine dating someone? I would never. These people waited outside of Miku Ito's living quarters to ask her if she was living with a boy. Now, she herself didn't confirm this to them, but they waited and found out that there was indeed a model living in the same space as her. She later tweeted out apologizing for troubling people with her personal matters, and her agency also sent out a message asking fans not to bother her on her personal time. This company also posted an article a few years back about IdolMaster voice actor Haruka Yamazaki going on a ski trip with someone they claimed to be her boyfriend, the person in question being Shin, the drummer for the anime group Grand Rodeo. Love those guys, by the way, great music. I can't remember if Haruka denied these claims as the reports seem to be taken down, but last year she announced her marriage to the very same Mr. Sheen, and now she's pregnant. Congrats to them. Just to follow that up with a short one, when Ayano Taketatsu and Yuki Kaji got married, the company posted that they had been secretly dating for 2 years prior. Now, I'm going to do my best to refrain from making a sarcastic remark on all of these, but do they not understand the concept of dating before you get married? I guess maybe they really meant the secret part and how not many people around them even knew. But again, why would they? It's not like you go around bragging all the time. I guess you could, and Ayana is delicious, so I'm sure Yuki really had to hold back. But yeah, I don't know, stupid articles. The final one of these I'll be going over is Akari Kito being seen with fellow voice actor Yuya Hozumi, and the news outlet posted that they are dating and maybe even living together. In this case though, Akari denied the claims, saying that they are just good friends. However, 2 years later, the company posted a follow-up article claiming that they are still together. This time, she just ignored it, and it led to her losing some fans in the process, and online reporters saying this caused her music sales to go down, and thus her music career as an idol is basically over. And well, as of now, a year after the second article claiming that she has a boyfriend, she's doing just fine. She's got a mini album coming out probably the same week that this video goes up. You might be able to chalk that up to Demon Slayer still going strong, but I think even when that ends, she will also be doing just fine. I also think that a lot of people can't seem to understand that you don't need to be in the public eye 24/7 to be successful. A lot of stuff happens behind the scenes as well. Look at American rapper Jay-Z. That dude hasn't made new music since 2018, yet he's still the richest rapper. I do hope one day people will actually start using their brains, but until then, I guess we're just chilling. Next up is the rumors and speculation, this mostly just coming from the fans. Some of it may be plausible, but nothing has been confirmed. Let's start off with some girls having bad blood with companies. Satomi Akesaka used to be part of the band Rosalia in the Bang Dream franchise. She eventually left due to having hearing loss, and it seems that she doesn't want to be associated with it anymore, hinting at a bad relationship with them. The higher-ups, by the way, I seriously doubt she has any beef with the girls in the band. I hope not, at least, especially with Kanon. She already gets enough unnecessary hate. To put my own thoughts into this, Satomi is still very active in the Uma Musume Pretty Derby scene, being at many of their shows, which is a lot of music. It might not be loud like gothic rock, but it's still loud music. So she clearly can be around this stuff now, even if it's just for a small amount of time. So it is odd to me that she's never just had a cameo appearance at any Bandori events since. Would have been really cool just to see her as a special guest at a Rosalia Live or even just a talk event. But the fact that she hasn't does have me wonder if she or the people in charge just don't care to make it happen again. Again, she doesn't want to be part of it anymore, but take a moment and think why that's the case. Someone was definitely rude to her on her way out just because she had a health problem. That is just my opinion at least, and it's a very similar case for the next girl, Yoshino Nanjo, over in lovelive. She had a knee injury, and people do think she is the reason Muse ended their career at the time that it did. I for sure don't think they would have went on forever as much as we'd like that, but they definitely had a few more years in them. Since their disbandment, we've only seen Nanjo once, I think, at the 9th Anniversary Fest in 2020, which has led some people, myself included, to think that maybe someone high up was mean to her and she just doesn't want any part of that anymore. Yurika Kubo also hasn't really made any appearances, but we know she's down to come back. She just wants everyone else there as well. Also, she's a sweetheart. No one better ever be mean to her or we're gonna have a problem. So next up, back to Bushy Road, Ami Maishima was in Bang Dream and D4DJ, but had to step down for a year due to health issues, losing her D4DJ role in the process, but keeping her Bandori character. People speculate because of the year-long absence it wasn't due to poor health, but due to the fact that she got pregnant, and maybe it wasn't on purpose as she is not publicly married. This is a situation where it's very scary to let your mind wander and think about what could have happened. A year is obviously more than enough time to have a child and take care of it for a while before slowly getting back into work. So it is possible, but I think it's best not to think about that and just focus on the happy fact that she is back, and we hope to see her performing again in Bang Dream. Moving on, at one point, Maya Uchida was rumored to be dating Yuki Kaji, or maybe it was more like fans shipped them because of their roles in a show together. There was also gossip about Aoi Yuki and Ayana Taketatsu bullying Maya because she was maybe with Yuki Kaji before he married Ayana. Also, apparently Maya stole Yuki away from Kana Hanazawa, so there could be legitimate drama over there, but I doubt it. If there ever was at one point, I'm sure they're all over it by now. There is a whole bunch of posts about the evidence though. With Yuki and Kana, because of a period of time they had similar interests like watching the same movies, visiting the same places, and liking the same authors. The evidence of Maya stealing him away is because both Yuki and Kana indicated in their respective radio programs that they moved houses around the same time. Also, a fortune teller visited Yuki's program, saying something along the lines of, "You've recently broken free of a person controlling your life," to which he agreed to, and around the same time, Kana released a song about a breakup. So take that as you will. Again, it really doesn't matter anymore, as Kana and Yuki are both married to other really cool people, and Maya is still everyone's big sister. Oh, also apparently Yuki likes short hair, and each of the girls in question changed their hair to a bob cut at some point. Which is a crazy coincidence, but at the same time, I mean, a lot of girls cut their hair that short, so again, yeah. And last up for this section here, a super minor fan speculation involving someone I adore very much, Yu Serizawa. Way back in the day, like 10 years ago now, she posted a photo of her at karaoke, but she had a ring on her finger on the left hand, so people were asking her about her marriage. She went back to Twitter a few hours later to say sorry for misleading and betraying her fans. It was just a ring with no meaning behind it at all. This story is super harmless, it's just the fact that she had to say sorry for betraying her fans. That stuff just really annoys me, like a lot. So next up is the more serious stuff. Just want to give a minor trigger warning for now, as some of the stuff can get pretty messed up, especially the final one. These are going to progressively get more scary as they go on, so I will keep giving warnings as I see fit. But I'll just start off with some misunderstandings first. Both Kaori Maeda and Ami Maishima actually have adult video stars with the same names as them, which of course led to people thinking and saying weird stuff even though they look nothing alike. Then there's Nozomi Suzuhara, similar situation, but her adult counterpart actually has a name of Nozomi Suhara. And as I said earlier, people don't use their brains, so they go and assume stuff. Keeping with the lovelive girls, you saw the thumbnail, you knew this was coming. Emi Nisa was accused of being in a full-on adult video before she joined lovelive. And I mean, yeah, it looks just like her, it probably is. However, she did deny it. Her junior Akina Homoto has recently been put in a similar situation. But the video she appeared in is very tame compared to the one that Emi was in. I actually wouldn't even consider Akina's an adult video, but again, it looks just like her and it probably is her. But with Akina, she still has yet to even acknowledge it, leaving some people to fully believe that it was her, since the least she can do is deny it, right? Well, no, it really doesn't matter if she does or not. As we saw with Emi's case, people will still think it's her. And real quick, just to give my thoughts, both of these situations happened before they were in lovelive or even famous for that matter. And they're just out here doing things that literally everyone does. Just because you're not getting any doesn't mean you have to talk shit about others just because they are. This applies to the ladies having boyfriends in the earlier sections too. And also this next one. A good time to talk about Aya Hirano since her situation also involves sexual activities. This is probably the most well-known scandal, especially considering at one point she was the most famous voice actor ever. But if somehow you don't know of this event that happened, back in 2011, an acquaintance of Atlantis employee, her label at the time, leaked that Hirano had sexual relations with 3 of her band members, leading to the dismissal of all 4 of them. A few months later, a magazine published photos of them as well. Because of this, many fans destroyed the merchandise that they had of her and created petitions to remove her from her role in Kizumonogatari. And of course, it wouldn't be the internet without sending her death threats. A couple years after that, she really stopped posting on Twitter and basically took a step back from the industry as a whole. Many years later, in 2022, she said that she still receives death threats whenever she does voice acting for an anime. And she says it's a big reason as to why she has largely stepped away from the anime voice acting scene in general. She's in One Piece now though, so fuck the haters. I think that's the first time I've swore on this channel. The next story here is about the very lovely One-san Aikayano visiting a shrine in Japan, the Yasukuni Shrine in particular, which is meant to show respect for soldiers who died in wars, including World War II. Now, some of these soldiers have committed war crimes, which has led to the shrine being a very hot topic. Some of the soldiers being memorialized did very bad things to Chinese citizens back during the war, so Kayano visiting the shrine had Chinese people throwing a tantrum, and well, I'll just keep it at that. Due to this, she actually lost her role in a few games made by Chinese companies, a big one being Azure Lane, where her role was taken over by Yuka Iguchi. Which leads nicely into the next story, Inori Minase apparently having an alternate account and saying very mean things about other Seiyu. One of which is her accusing Yuka Iguchi of having breast implants, which is probably true. I mean, the gym can only do so much to change your body, but honestly, who cares? You don't want to look at Big Booba? Stop lying to me and stop lying to yourself. This account also claimed that Akari Kito and Yu Serizawa also received surgery, but in their face, then criticizing Mai Uchida, Yui Ogura, and Miho Okusaki for low sales numbers, even saying Yui lip syncs during her lives and that Miku Ito is a rude person who doesn't greet people. I actually plan on doing a whole video about this individual story in the future, probably closer to a full year after it happened, so I can probably go over each accusation and try to debunk them. Because honestly, someone as popular as Inori really wouldn't have the time to do this, and even if she did, there's literally no reason to do so. Like calling out Yui for lip syncing or her junior Miho for not having a certain number of sales. Why would that matter to someone like Inori? The answer to that question is, it wouldn't. And like, she is a massive fan of Maya. She's not going to talk shit about her on an alternate account. There is much more to this as well, some people I didn't mention that the account talked about. But again, I'll go into more detail in a future video, which will be sometime next year. Okay, so these last few stories are very serious and deal with emotional and physical abuse. So this is a big warning. Let's start off with Runa Narumi, who lived with her YouTuber boyfriend, though she wanted to get back with an old boyfriend, but he only wanted to be friends with benefits. That old boyfriend having a girlfriend as well, by the way. She contacted Narumi asking her to stop hooking up with her ex-boyfriend. According to the chat logs, Narumi said something along the lines of, "I don't want to share him with a nobody like you. Don't you know who I am?" Acting all high and mighty, which is hilarious considering she was basically a nobody as well. Narumi also threatened to end her own life if the girlfriend leaked anything. The girlfriend also received a death threat text that she suspected was from Narumi's agency. However, the girlfriend went to a news outlet anyway and leaked everything, while Narumi's agency denied everything. On to the final part of this story. Again, trigger warning. Narumi invited the ex-boyfriend over to her home and apparently had intercourse 4 times without protection. The ex-boyfriend then told her to take the morning after pill and giving her money to do so. She didn't want to, but she did it anyway. Also saying that she always used protection with the current boyfriend, but she prefers the sensation of not using one for when the man finishes. I am paraphrasing here just to keep things less gross. Afterwards, she would go on hiatus, lose her roles, and then retire due to poor health. A situation like this is exactly why most people roll their eyes when they see poor health as an excuse. Like with Ami Maishima, the year-long hiatus due to the same reason. I know people do get hurt and they obviously don't owe us an explanation, but when you keep it so vague, that's when people start assuming and spreading rumors. Anyway, let's move on to the next very serious accusation. A Seiyu by the name of Yuri Nahase said that she had experienced a casting couch situation while auditioning for a role produced by Sunrise Anime Studio. If you're unfamiliar with a casting couch, well, simply put, it's where ladies trade sexual favors in order to receive a role. Usually it's just a gimmick used for adult videos, but apparently, unfortunately, it really does happen in some companies. This isn't the only time someone has come forward about this either. Back in 2019, Kokuna Yuzuki, who admittedly barely has any anime roles, and is a former adult video star herself, also came forward saying she experienced the casting couch, and saying other girls around her were being offered it as well. Another lady, Hiroko Konishi, was told to go on a pleasure trip with a producer so she could get a role in a show or just to get in his good graces. She refused and thus didn't get any roles and was essentially blacklisted, not having a role since the year 2000. I know stuff like this happens everywhere, but that's just really messed up. The Sunrise stuff is especially scary because that's where the lovelive anime comes from. So hopefully that's not true, or at the very least has stopped since then. I've also even seen some accounts saying Risa Taneda experienced this when she was a rookie, though she herself has never said anything, so take that as you will. The last 3 stories here involve male Seiyu doing some bad things, so here is your final trigger warning. These will also progressively get worse, as the first one is not so bad, just a man being stupid, but the final thing is pretty rough. So first, the not so bad one, Nobuhiko Okamoto is a very famous man in the industry. I don't follow many male Seiyu, but I definitely consider myself a fan of his. As for what he did, well, we're back to the Bunshun company, reporting that he was having an affair. He manned up about the situation, admitted he messed up, and apologized publicly. And he just laid low for a while. He seems to have been forgiven by most, and hey, we all make mistakes. The way he handled it, to me, shows that he was truly sorry for it. Tatsuhisa Suzuki, on the other hand, cheated on Lisa, yes, the Lisa, with a very young intern. How did he handle this situation? Well, he said that he would quit the popular music group that he was in for a very long time, that being Old Codex, and he would give up his roles in popular anime like Tokyo Revengers, which is understandable. Keeping his voice in there could lead to some bad publicity. But after this, he tried to end his own life, which is just sad. Like, dude, you messed up. Grow up and own it. Lisa has since forgave him, and the two of them now have a child together. Hopefully they're doing well over there, and he has received some counseling or therapy. As for this next fellow, the final story, Toru Furuya, the voice of Yamcha, Tuxedo Mask, and Sabo, a 71-year-old man married with a child, having an affair with someone who was 34 years younger than him, and it happened for over 4 years, admitting to physically abusing her and convincing her to have an abortion. Hey, shout outs to Bunshun for actually doing something right with their stalking. To keep it serious though, that is beyond messed up. I don't need to tell you guys that. His characters have since been replaced, and it is safe to say that his voice acting career is over. Like it really matters though, he's 71, he's already did all that he needs to do. Real shame that he ended up being a terrible human being. So that is the end for this one. There are obviously many more stories. There are so many actors in the business currently and over the last 100 years. Other men cheating, even women cheating, losing their roles over questionable reasons. And don't even get me started on Japan over-sexualizing the young girls. People like Riho Ida, Yui Ogura, Kaori Ishihara, and again, Ami Maishima, always being in bikinis when they were like 12 to 15 years old. And then there's traditional idols like AKB48. I don't even want to research what's happening over there, honestly. This Seiyu stuff was already messed up enough. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I didn't trigger you too hard. Again, I just wanted to talk about these stories. I feel if you're a fan, you should probably know the good and bad involving the people you admire. And hey, nobody's perfect. They're all just humans like we are. I'm sure they're under a lot of pressure and whatnot. Anyway, let's end this here. And I hope you'll join me in the next one, a much happier video about the new faces of the Bang Dream franchise. As always, I look forward to seeing you there.